This morning we are celebrating the 12 best days of summer. Channel 2 day of the Erie County Fair is opening day, and that's on Wednesday.
Yeah, so this morning we're focusing this week's unknown story on a culinary first that takes us back to the fair in 1885, the birth of the burger. For author and historian Chris Carosa, the Erie County Fair holds a special place in his heart.
This is my grandfather here, and I worked in this stand. It was right outside what was then the main gate.
This pizza stand was his home for 12 days every summer.
I worked here for 10 years, more than 10 years, grew up in Blaisdell, went to schools here, had friends here, never heard the story.
The story, a culinary caper that traces the birth of the burger right here to the heart of Hamburg. A story that he didn't know until he was a student at Yale researching a paper on the history of his hometown. He found an 1885 newspaper circular in the Yale Library telling the tale of the Menches brothers' on-the-spot innovation.
They ran out of pork sausage. They went to the butcher. The butcher said, hey, I'm not going to slaughter a whole pig for 10 pounds. You're going to have to settle for something else.
That something else was ground beef that they shaped into the same type of patties as the sausage they'd been slinging.
And because of the way it cooked, they burned the outside and the inside was raw. So they didn't create the first hamburger, they created the first hockey puck.
So back to the drawing board, and believe it or not, they added a little coffee to the mix.
And that way it'll steam the inside so it cooked all the way through. So that's how they cooked it, and the coffee tasted lousy, so they added brown sugar and some other ingredients. Sold out.
An instant hit.
Some guy comes up to him and says, hey, what do you call this? Well, they just invented it. They didn't have a name. And what do we call the Erie County Fair? People who live here, we call it the Hamburg Fair. And there's signs all over, Hamburg Fair. So Frank looks up at the Hamburg Fair sign and says, hey, it's called a Hamburg sandwich.
And the rest is history. A much debated history at that, and a history that Chris dove headfirst into as he wrote his book, Hamburger Dreams.
Well, what I did in my research is I went to old newspaper articles to find out the first mention of either a hamburger or Hamburg sandwich. And the earliest mention I was able to find was 1893. So any story that had an origin after that was obviously wrong. So that kicked out New Haven, it kicked out St. Louis, it kicked out Texas, really only left Wisconsin and Hamburg, New York.
Using the same research techniques that he used in his studies at Yale, he reached his conclusion.
The way I determined which one won, so to speak, was which fair occurred first. Well, Hamburg beat Wisconsin by about a month.
And today, 138 years later, burger lovers everywhere are the real winners. And by the way, Chris's book just won the 2023 Speak Up Radio Firebird Book Award, a national competition, and he's going to be at the fair this Saturday signing books at the History Building from 3 until 6. So you can go there and share some burger stories and maybe pick up a copy of his book.
Now we just need the water tower in Hamburg to look like a burger, and we're all set.
I just need a burger to look and taste like a burger. And by the way, Wednesday, we're going to be live at the fair because it's opening day.
Yep, we're ready for Channel 2 day for sure.